as the furor seemed to be increasing in Parliament, it has had an impact on the corridors of power. In fact, our sources in CBI tell us that since the weekend, they have been receiving a steady stream of what they thought were missing files. Sources say Coal Ministry officials have been visiting CBI for better coordination. They've also handed over several files since the weekend. But as CBI told Attorney General, 200 files were still missing. And this includes the most crucial Prime Minister's Office's recommendation for coal block allocation to Vijay Datta's company. CBI says that the files are now coming in from other ministries too, who had been asked to provide copies if all weren't returned within the next 2 weeks. A criminal case has to be registered. In New Delhi, Sunetra Chaudhary for NDTV.
Well, it's been a day on which we've seen political brickbats flying, and there are lots of issues which we're going to be discussing today. Separate issues, but clearly issues that point out to the path that we are heading in. And the question we are asking this evening are our politics getting murkier and murkier by the day as we head towards 2014? And the reason we're asking that is because let's just take a look at what's happened over the last 24 hours. We've got the CD with Tulsiram Prajapati case involved, and the allegation that 2 senior BJP leaders were trying to influence the case. We've got the coal scam, the Prime Minister finally responding in Parliament, but the BJP says the answers are just not good enough. The Gujarat Lok Ayog bill has been returned by the Governor of Gujarat. And now we've got the former Gujarat top cop VG Vanzara, who's in custody, making the case that the former Home Minister of Gujarat, Mr. Amit Shah, was clearly biased. He used and misused the political force. We're going to be looking at each of these issues to try and make the point that perhaps politics are indeed going to be murkier by the day in the run-up to 2014. But first, let me start with the CD in the Tulsiram Prajapati case. And let me come to you first, Mr. Jainarayan Vyas, because the Congress party feels that there is enough evidence in those CDs which came out in that sting operation for Narendra Modi to step down at the moment pending investigations. How do you reply?
See, this is their opinion. I think Congress also knows that that opinion has no value because the CD is not in a public domain. That is something which is going to be, there is an ongoing investigation, and if the Congress was so confident, they could have presented it as an evidence before the investigating authorities. Why this press conference and why all this halagulla? So I think the Congress also knows that it has no value except claiming some political mileage and trying to malign the state government.
So Mr. Vyas, are you saying that the CD is fake? Is that what you're saying?
I am not making any comment. I am simply saying it is not in the public domain. Once it becomes a part of the investigation evidence, whether it will be accepted as an evidence, and if it is accepted as an evidence, it will have to go through various FSL tests to see that it is a genuine material. So if you are so many steps behind, how today you are jumping to the conclusion relying upon an evidence which according to you is an evidence which may not be the evidence at all at the time of the trial. So how are you jumping to this conclusion?
All right. Well, Prashant Bhushan, senior advocate of the Supreme Court and with the Aam Aadmi Party also with us. So why do you believe that this tape is authentic, the CD is authentic, the footage is authentic? Because there have been question marks which have been raised on the credibility of the journalists concerned, involved in the sting operation.
You see, the question marks about the journalist is one thing, but clearly the CD and several parts of the CD clearly purport to show that at least 2 senior leaders of the BJP, that is Mr. Bhupendra Yadav, their General Secretary, as well as Mr. Prakash Javadekar, their spokesman, their national spokesman, they were clearly involved in trying to procure blank wakalatnamas from Tulsiram Prajapati's mother, Narmada Bai, multiple wakalatnamas which could be used in all the courts from the Supreme Court, High Court, Trial Court, etc. If they were, as is clear from the videos of the sting operation, if they were desperately trying to obtain these wakalatnamas, then the question arises, why were they doing so? Why should persons who are acting on behalf of the main accused, that is Mr. Amit Shah, in this case, try and obtain multiple blank wakalatnamas from the mother of the person who died, that is the complainant?
All right.
Obviously, it means that they were somehow trying to use these to derail the investigation.
All right. Why did you reply to that, Mr. Vyas?
Says that the authenticity
the allegation
of the CD
is that leaders like Mr. Prakash Javadekar, the spokesperson of the BJP, along with other leaders, was actively trying to derail the process as far as the Tulsiram Prajapati case was concerned, and was therefore trying to protect Amit Shah. It's not a question of the timing, it's not a question of whether this is real or fake. Of course, we'll look at that later on when it does go to some sort of forensic science laboratory, but the allegations are very strong. You've got credible people saying that the allegations in the video shows something which is very tragic if it indeed turns out to be the case.
Yes. Well, I still would stick to my argument that if you feel that it is so genuine, since the investigations are on, why are you not presenting it to the investigation authorities? What is it? Is it the platform where you can hold this trial except creating a sensational value and sort of trying to malign the state government or the Bharatiya Janata Party?
All right, Sanjay Jha, answer that question. He has a valid point. If you
has
have a CD,
no
if you believe that there is an illegality which has been committed, why don't you give it to the police? Why are you having a press conference about it?
It will be given. Mr. Vyas can sleep well tonight. I completely agree with him. It will be provided as evidence that the CBI itself is investigating several of the fake encounter cases under Supreme Court instructions, and this is a very, very serious charge. And the truth, Vishnu, is that I don't want to get into the details of the case, but for those who have followed all the fake encounter cases, they will know that they happened where the state police and the Minister of State for Home, which happened to be Mr. Amit Shah, were clearly in very active confabulation. In fact, Tulsiram Prajapati was known to be a witness to Sohrabuddin Sheikh's, murder. And in fact, the night before Prajapati was actually killed, there were several telephonic conversations, very unusual for a Minister of State for Home to be talking to his very junior police officers given the ranks.